Let's make some noise. Come on.
Yes, indeed, Nick Foles. Thank you very much, and welcome back, everybody, to the final word here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, which boy MattyB on the call on this chill Wednesday night. Another boring night in this sports week from hell, but we're getting closer. 2 more days. 2 more days. And we'll have actual live MLB action. 3 more days. We'll have actual live Phillies MLB action. Hockey will return next week for the Flyers, but right now, I guess it's sports hell. Am I being too rough on it? We do have some outstanding Olympic hockey to talk about. Team USA today, this afternoon, whatever, found their way in an outstanding, really, I thought tougher than should have been game against Sweden, where they prevailed 2-1 in overtime. A theme today in the quarterfinals of Olympic hockey. They were able to skate their way past Sweden 2-1, earning their trip to the semis, and they'll play Chechnya on Friday for an opportunity to play for gold on Sunday. So if you're really jonesing, I mean hardcore, and you need something, please gravitate over to the Olympic men's hockey and then women's hockey. Tomorrow, Team USA will battle Canada in the gold medal game as the girls look to win gold yet again. So I guess I'm being a little too rough on the sports week hell thing, but yeah, for me it is. I'm getting tired of the drama and the back and forth to talk about Bryce Harper hating Dave Dombrowski hating Bryce Harper, Rob Thompson not being an adequate leader. And I think tonight, though, I only have 2 more shows left of this broadcast week, today and tomorrow. And I won't actually probably see you guys again. Maybe not until midweek next week, as my schedule dictate that I will be sort of doing other things. But, I'm not going to have an opportunity to comment on the early goings of Phillies baseball in spring training. So I'm going to have to kind of leave you with that image of great spring training baseball. But I think the one thing that we didn't talk about this week when it comes to the Rob Thompson, but it's the Dave Dombrowski, Bryce Harper stuff, is the influence of Rob Thompson. And I know we tongue-in-cheek it. Michael Papernick wants to string him up on a cross, all those things. How much of this culture problem, allegedly, for the Phillies lays in the hands of the manager? How much of the, how much of this that has elevated beyond the manager's control at this point originated with the manager and the way he runs his ball club? So maybe we'll get into some of Rob Thompson tonight. I feel up to it. I feel strong enough to deal with some Rob Thompson tonight. So we'll talk Rob Thompson. We're going to talk Flyers tonight, making some roster moves. I don't know if it's to cover down on the missing personnel that are in Italy still, but Hunter McDonald, Oliver Bonk were recalled from Lehigh Valley, and as well as Carson Bjornson, the goaltender, got the call earlier this week to join the Flyers. Again, I don't know if it's for practice purposes only. They're waiting for some key members of the team to return back from Italy, but they've begun practice today. Today there was their first day back at practice as they get ready to ramp up for some play next week. But we can get into some of that. Again, the Oliver Bonk, Hunter McDonald stuff might be a little bit of a smokescreen. It might be for bodies, but Carson Bjornson is an interesting recall because we've been clamoring over the last month and a half now for another option other than Sam Ersson and Alexei Kovaslov. And is this Carson Bjornson's turn now? And, we've talked about that millions of times as well, that the Flyers playing in goaltender is internal. They took 2 very high draft picks back-to-back rounds in 2023 on goaltenders. And now Carson Bjornson got the call up. I don't know, again, if it's for a practice or if this is going to be his opportunity in the next round of, goalie come on down for the Philadelphia Flyers as we turn the page perhaps to the Carson Bjornson years. So we get into some of that as well. We will do our day in Philadelphia sports history. We will not do the card. No card tonight, folks. Sorry about that. I did not get one ready for the evening. But our day in Philadelphia sports history and our of the night We can also talk Joel Embiid, talk campaign, talk the NBA All-Star Weekend highlights featuring VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey. We can talk those things if you like. Jesus Luzardo had a very impressive outing or bullpen session today. Trey Turner has reportedly focused on health, as so are all the other Phillies, as they have succumbed to some hyperbolic air chamber for some therapy after games and practices as part of some sort of co-op deal with this company that does it. They're going to lay in this chamber. Is this the thing T.O. used to do, or they're going to get oxygen therapy? I mean, isn't oxygen therapy just kind of standing there? Isn't that oxygen? You got to lay in a little booth. I thought oxygen therapy was constantly happening because we live in an area of oxygen. But we can talk about the Phillies' ability to manage their injuries in 2026. Eagles, the NovaCare complex is now the Jefferson Health Training Complex, whatever. They continue to change on their staff. So whatever you want to talk about, we could talk about on this Wednesday night. So I'm glad to be back. Glad to be here with you. Let's get things rolling. And Barbara's checking in. Hey, Barbara, I'm glad you're here. Very glad you're here. 9 o'clock, Sundays through Thursday, Barbara. I just saw that Hurts is the most hated. Yeah, I saw that. Some sort of fan poll. I don't know where it came from or how it originated. But I find it interesting that we talk about it, and I know people are talking about it. It once again strengthens the mantra that we're from Philly and we care if you hate us, right? You don't like us, we don't care, that nonsense. We could probably pretty much stop saying that because we certainly do care when you hate us or hate members of our football team. Barbara, do you really care what some fan poll said about Jalen Hurts? I don't. It might send out a barometer or a reading of the room from the Eagles that they're not the gold standard, and it's not always sunny in Philadelphia, especially from the outside looking in. I don't know if you can gauge that with that poll. These are things that we've known forever. It's not news to us, but yeah, whatever. I mean, he could be voted the greatest player in the NFL or the most liked player in the NFL. So that's what we've reduced to these days. Popularity contests. Is that what this is about? So I don't take much stock in that. I don't hate Jalen Hurts. I don't think he should be the most hated man in the NFL. Overrated, yeah. The most overrated quarterback in the NFL, yeah. But hated, that would mean that people know him, right? Doesn't hate indicate a personal connection to somebody? Like you hate somebody is because you know that person and you honestly don't like them. I mean, unless all these people out there know him personally, this is a popularity contest, right? I don't know Jalen Hurts personally. I've never spoken to the man one-on-one, so I'm not going to tell you that I hate him. I don't know him. So, Sidney Crosby, yes, he did. He had to leave the game. Had to leave the game today, Barbara Crosby. And they played in overtime. I think all the quarterfinals today went to overtime. And Canada, their drama in their game, they had a battle back was against the Swiss. They had to play, they had to come from behind, score late. And then in the overtime, Mitch Marner with this filthy goal to give them the win. But Canada get a little scared today in the quarters, but they're moving on as well. And so is Team USA. Obviously, the collision course is set for Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. That's right. I verified that. That is correct. The gold medal game will be on at 8:10 a.m. on Sunday. So get your coffee and your popcorn out, I guess. Listen, I know I get the time zone, time difference, but you're going to put perhaps a great all-time hockey game, potentially between the U.S. and the Canadians on at 8 a.m.? Come on, man. Read the room. Thompson does even less than Sirianni does, if that's possible. See, I disagree. Barbara. And here's why I disagree. We've seen this with Sirianni over the years, over the last 2 years at least, that It's autonomy on different sides of the ball. Do you think Kellen Moore was running his offense through Nick Sirianni in the Super Bowl year? Do you think Vic Fangio has ever run his defense through Nick Sirianni? Do you think the special teams people even talk to the guy, or he can even speak special teams? I disagree. I think because Rob Thompson's where the rubber meets the road with the Phillies. Everything that happens in that game is the manager's call. 100% disagree with that. I think Sirianni does considerably less than Thompson. Considerably less. Thompson is the rubber where the rubber meets the road for the Phillies. Every decision, every time he takes Zach Wheeler out in Game 6 of the 22 World Series, every time he decides to go back-to-back with Craig Kimbrell in the 23 NLCS, every time he decides to put Johan Duran out in the 7th inning in Game 4 of the 2025 NLDS, every time he switches the lineup continuously throughout the year, every time he decides to go through a bullpen without rolls, that's all Rob Thompson. That's all him. So, no, I disagree. It's just that name Carson that worries me. Oh, yeah, no, I don't know. Got to get over that. What's up, Adam? How you doing? What's the chances that Harper gets traded or wants out? Well, we talked about this extensively last night. I think that the fact that he wants out, or the chances that he wants out, are pretty good, because I think the president provided him the out, right? Don't forget, we can't forget that, again, we went over this in length last night. He's not stopping the whole I want more money thing. That's not dead, right? He still wants more money. He just knows he can't go publicly and ask for it anymore because of his performances over the last couple seasons. But he still wants more money. That hasn't been satisfied, right? That hasn't magically disappeared and he said, okay, well, whatever, I'm not going to get it. No. He still wants more money. And his people got to try to find more money. So what better way to generate something from this not elite comment? This could be the spark that ignites the fire to get him out of here. And his people, if the people that manage him are worth their salt, they are going to use this to the max of their ability to either get more money out of the Phillies or get him the hell out of Philadelphia. So this is the beginning. This is most certainly the beginning of the end of Bryce Harper in Philadelphia. I can't give a timeline. We talked about it. If they decided to move off of him, where would be a best fit for the Phillies and Bryce Harper? And I gave out the answer. And I think it's the A's. Yeah, the A's is a team that's right now on the cusp of something really important going on out there. They got some really good young players. And by the time they get to Vegas in 28, they're going to need a face. And what better than the hometown boy himself to provide a face for a perennial winner by then, or not perennial winner, but a contending team, I definitely think by 2028 in the A's. And they have a lot of young, good prospects in their system that the Phillies could pillage from the A's if they had the opportunity to do so. So absolutely, the chances that he wants to be traded or wants out, very good. The chances are extremely high. And if his people are worth a damn, they're going to use what Dave Dombrowski said to start that process right now. That, get him out of there or get him more money, one or the other. But they're going to use this now to Bryce Harper's benefit. However that benefit is, if he gets paid more, fine. If he gets traded and gets more money, that's what the ultimate goal here is, to get him more money. And again, to think that Bryce Harper gives a rat's ass about Philadelphia over the dollar bill, that's just silly, right? If Bryce Harper is going to get more money somewhere else, he's going to go get that money. If the Phillies are going to offer him the most money, he'll stay here and take that money. But either way, Dave Dombrowski unintentionally provided Bryce Harper a remember Pearl Harbor type of slogan in his quest and battle against the Phillies. Bruce, how you doing tonight, my man? MattyB, do you feel Crosby will have a knee operation on that dirty hit? Yeah, who cares? This is obviously the worst case scenario that any player wants to deal with in the Olympics. This is, of course, an argument supporting not being involved in these type of events for, professional athletes. Now that obviously Crosby, the injury might be pretty severe that he suffered today. The ramifications for him in Pittsburgh now were pretty great. We'll have to wait and see. He's not a spring chicken anymore, so that might have something to do with it. But I don't know. You never want to see anybody get hurt, right? And I don't want to see anybody get hurt, even Crosby. But that sucks, and I hope it's not serious. It looks like it is, though. Yeah, Matty, I agree. That hate is more of a personal thing for him, and overrated is the word that describes his actual. Actually, right. I mean, again, Barbara, I don't know Bryce Harper. Jesus Christ, Jalen Hurts. I don't know him. I can't assess that and say, man, I hate you, dude. No, I don't know him. I don't like his play. I don't like him as a quarterback. I don't know him as a man, so I'm not going to say I hate him. If Harper, being a lefty hitter, can't hit 40 home runs CBU, that's telling to me. Yeah, I agree. MattyB, I'm a Flyers fan, so I don't care as I don't like him because he's a big baby. Yeah, but you don't want to listen. I get you, Bruce, but come on, man. I'm talking real world stuff here, right? This guy, I'm a big fan. If you're going to beat somebody, I want to beat a team at their full health, right? I don't want any asterisks. I don't want to be like, well, you beat us without Crosby, or you won without this guy and all this. No, I want to, sports is sports. Wishing somebody to get hurt. I mean, that's real world stuff. I don't want that, man. I don't want that at all. Not at all. I'd rather have Crosby out in the ice, man, so you can hit him. I don't. No, I don't get into all that, man. I don't get into all that. But that's your thing, and that's all right by me. All right, so let's transition here. Let's get into our day in Philadelphia sports. But before we do that, let's remind everybody out here that's tuned in on this beautiful Wednesday night. It is Wednesday, right? Wednesday night, what's happening on the network? Tonight, you had the Pittsburgh Sports Tonight, the Pittsburgh Sports Desk, and you're going to wrap things up with me. Tomorrow, it's the Good Iron Weekly and me, and then Friday, the Philly Friday Frenzy. Best of the It's a Wrap Sports on Saturday. If you missed any of our programming throughout the week, you can catch it starting at 8 a.m. on Saturday. And then at 9 on Sunday, the Philly AM Sports Show. And no, there will not be a final word on Sunday. Again, I'm not really sure. Wednesday, it might be the next time we talk because of my schedule coming up next week. So, stay tuned for that. All right, let's strap it in. Let's strap it on. Let's strap it up. Let's keep our head, hands, and feet inside the car at all times. And here you go. Your day in Philadelphia sports history on this day in 1983. Who keeps track of these things? On a tip-in against the Houston Rockets, Sixers center Moses Malone tallied the NBA's 4 millionth point. The 4 millionth point in the history of the NBA. The 9 millionth was scored by Portland's Juan Dixon in December of 2005 against Philadelphia. And in January 2010, Ben Gordon of the Pistons scored the 10th millionth point once again against the Sixers. So a milestone night. Again, and that's a very interesting point. Who's tracking this stuff? Whose job is it to track the actual points scored in every game, every season? But on this night in 83, Moses Malone scored the 4 millionth point ever in the NBA. It's a slow sports week, man. What do you want from me? And that's your day in Philadelphia sports history. Brought to you by the great folks over at the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. Season 6 is in the books. We finished it last week. Kyle came and provided our 6th season together, breaking down Eagles and NFL action. We will return for season 7 next April, or I should say not next April, April. Around April, what is it? I'm going to say 28th, Thursday, April 28th will be season 7's premiere, but it'll just be for one episode. We'll recap the draft, free agency, talk things that are pertinent about the Birds, and then we will reconvene the Thursday before the start of the regular season in September for the actual start of season 7. But the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn, 94 WIP is Kyle Quinn, another successful season 6. So please check your local listings for that show in season 7 coming up in April. and get back and look at some of the stuff that me and Kyle did this year and last year. We've done it 6 years now, man. I can't believe we've been together for 6 years. It's where does the time go? MattyB, I feel you're right, as I don't want him to get hurt, but I don't like him, so I don't care so much. But I know you're right. No, listen, I know you're not coming from a bad place with that. I get you, man. He is a little bit of a biatch. I get you, but I want him on the ice to take his lickings like a man. You know, that's how I always looked at it, you know, and in sports is sports. So, you know, I can't wait. Yeah, I wonder who has a job to keep track of the points. It must be a busy job. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do it. I got time on my hands. I'll keep track of points. All you got to do is go back through, right, at the box scores at the end of the night and just count up all the points and then add them all together. And there you go. Moving on. Is Clear the Ice coming back? It is. It'll be back next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, it'll be back. I just sent out the schedule actually earlier tonight to the guys. We will be back next Wednesday. The graphic will be up at another time. But yes, next Wednesday, Clear the Ice will return. I was 6 weeks old. Well, when Moses Malone scored the 4 millionth point in the NBA, I was 10. Actually, was that the season? No, that was 80. Yeah, that's 82, 83. That's the championship year, right? Yeah. Wow. So Moses Malone scored the 4 millionth point in NBA history in the year the Sixers won their last NBA championship. 10 years old I was. Down there on Broad Street for that parade. That was fun. Embiid keeps the point stats. LOL. Yeah. But he's got to take his shoes off to use his toes. All right. So let's get our first question for the night. As I said, what's the title of the show tonight? What the hell is it? Does anybody know the title of the show? The Thrill of Victory. Yes, the Thrill of Victory. That's tonight's show. Anyway, there's not much to talk about in the Thrill of Victory. We do have, and I want to save this for a little bit later, but a great game for those of you that did not see USA hockey today, hockey, USA versus Sweden. A game in which I thought they played a little bit down to Sweden's ability. I'm not going to take anything away from the Swedes about how they played defense. They played a really good defense, and it took a while for Team USA to get through. And even when they got through to Markstrom, they really couldn't get further through. So, hats off to the Swedes. But they prevailed in overtime in setting up the semis on Friday against Chechnya. I think Canada's playing Finland, I believe, in their semifinals. So all systems are go for another potential collision for the U.S. and Canada in the gold medal game. But the thrill of victory when it comes to just sports, right, and games, and this is what's been lacking all week for me and for you and for a lot of us, is it's just nothing to really sink our teeth in, game-wise. I've been trying to supplement that with watching college baseball. I've been supplementing watching hockey, but it just doesn't, it seems very detached, right? But starting Friday, we're going to get some Major League Baseball back. Saturday is when spring training. I know, and again, there's not the thrill of victory in that. But for one last couple days, we can continue to talk drama, and I'll sink back in the mud with you tonight, and we'll talk more drama. And it's a point of discussion about the Phillies' ongoing drama that has not really been sniffed at. It's been Dave Dombrowski versus Nick Castellanos, Dave Dombrowski versus Bryce Harper. It's been sort of that kind of triangle, right? It's really been that. But not enough mention has been about the manager and the manager's role in all of this. And this is not new on this show. We've talked about Rob Thompson and Rob Thompson's style before. Mainly, though, his on-the-field style, but you could definitely see the type of clubhouse he runs, and it goes back to the magic that was captured in 2022. One of the things about Girardi that was not working for this team was they weren't responding to him, and Girardi reportedly was sort of a old-school disciplinarian, iron fist. You say, I tell you to do it, you do it. That's the end of it, right? No wiggle room left or right. They fired him in season. They replaced him with Thompson. Things got loose. Things got light, and they ran the thing all the way to the World Series. And they've continued to run with Thompson over the last 4 years. But it is the byproduct of what we've seen from Rob Thompson. And I'm not saying a byproduct is it is winning. Winning is part of the byproduct. Regular season winning. But is there also a byproduct of entitlement? Is there a byproduct of get out of my face? I don't really believe, I don't really respect you. You know, Castellanos said it on the way out the door. He didn't say it, I don't respect Rob Thompson, but I don't respect coaches or managers that have not played Major League Baseball. Is that a sentiment shared by more than just Nick Castellanos as it pertains to Rob Thompson? When they look at Rob Thompson, do they look at a person that are they looking at him like, yeah, no, I'm okay. Oh, okay, Rob, we'll do that your way. Okay. I mean, what kind of respect do you think he garners? And I don't mean and we kind of explored the hate thing earlier, you know, because we don't know somebody personally. But when you're doing a job with somebody and you're the manager, and I have some experience in this, not in sports, but in another aspect of life. We have a job to do, and we put personal feelings and personal relationships on the back burner to get the job done. And in sports, it's like that. I'm sure he's got a personal relationship with just about everybody on that team. But when it comes time to put on the uniform and get on the field, I'm the manager, you're the player, and there's a line. But does Rob Thompson have that line? Do players respect that line against Rob Thompson? Because Nick Castellanos going into the clubhouse, coming back out to the dugout with a beer, regardless if he was going to drink it or not, just the fact that he had the thought to do it and the balls to actually go and get it and sit out there tells you a lot about the type of manager or the type of relationship on a professional side that at least one player had with the manager. Is that attitude, or is that the same type of problem that he's having with Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Kyle Schwarber? Do players not fear accountability from Rob Thompson? And all this venom that's being shot at Dave Dombrowski, is it being shot at the right person? I get it. Rob is here still because of Dave. Dave is keeping Rob around. I understand they're sort of married together. But is this Dave's ultimate responsibility? Not responsibility, but did Dave create this? Or did the manager create this? And can a team, and we'll go back to the question that we've always asked about Rob Thompson, especially on this program. Can the Phillies win a World Series with a manager that they don't respect, they don't fear, and that they're not accountable towards with anything? Can this team win a World Series with a manager that's like that? And I don't want to hear the whole Uncle Rob is my buddy and my dad and he takes care of me and all this nonsense. I get when the doors are closed how it is, but when the doors are open, are they not fearful of Rob Thompson, the manager? And can this team win a World Series regardless of who's here with that type of manager? And I think, and I know personally, I got lost in that. I got lost in that conversation, you know, when it was back and forth between Dombrowski and Harper and all the blame. Yeah, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. I forgot, you know, I didn't think, I stopped thinking out a little bit. I'm like, wait, what about Rob Thompson, man? Did Rob Thompson start all this? Is this all his fault? You know, Nick Castellanos' son is on the field during the playoffs taking BP while JT Realmuto's waiting to get in the cage. Who creates that? Right? Like who fosters that environment? That's the manager, right? The manager allowed that to happen. And did the manager shut that down? Well, we don't know that, or I don't know that. But I mean, how do you even, like, as a baseball fan, as a Phillies fan, how do you go into the rest of this season and look at Rob Thompson? And even if you did respect Rob Thompson, even if you were a Rob Thompson guy or gal, How do you look at Rob Thompson in 2026 and be like, yeah, I have full confidence that you're in control here. I have full 100% confidence that you're in control of this team and that this team is going to succeed because of you. They sure as hell will probably fail because of you, but no, I'm going to give you the other side too. Now that we're starting to hear about some of these things, how can you look at Rob Thompson and say you have full confidence in his ability as a manager? And it brings back another interesting point. Don Mattingly. You know, back in October, on the same day that Dave Dombrowski told Bryce Harper he wasn't elite anymore, Dave Dombrowski announced to the world that the Phillies were creating the on-the-field MLB coordinator position. They were adopting it, not creating it. They were going and adopting that position. A position in which Dave Dombrowski said about 85% of the teams in baseball have somebody doing that. Well, they don't. It's about 35% of the teams in Major League Baseball, but that's either here nor there. So they're going to take their existing bench manager or bench coach, and they were going to make him the on-the-field MLB coordinator. And they were going to open up the bench coach job to hire somebody this offseason. And then Dave went on to say, we are looking for somebody with prior Major League Baseball managing experience. Now, I, of course, immediately when I remember when I heard this, I yelled out, Don Mattingly. And I said it. I called it. I called it on that day. I've been wanting Don Mattingly here for years, but I called out that Don Mattingly was going to be the next new bench coach because I don't believe the Phillies created the on-the-field MLB coordinator position because it's such a vital nuance of 2020, of 21st century baseball. No. They created that position so they could open up the bench coach position so they could bring somebody in here, whether it be Mattingly or somebody else, with Major League Baseball managing experience as a safety net to use when Rob Thompson, runs his course. And here we are. Don Mattingly is your bench coach. So maybe Dave and maybe the rest of them do see the problem with Rob Thompson and they've created that position for him and Don Mattingly to come here. But the original question goes back. How can you look at Rob Thompson and actually feel comfortable and confident in his ability to win a World Series championship when he obviously can't control the dugout? So that's the first question of the night, and I am going to now open up the phone lines. So the phone lines are open. You guys know the drill. If you want to jump on backstage, we can talk about this, talk about anything else that I brought up or anything else you want to talk about tonight. Just jump on that link. You'll take you backstage, and I'll put you up on stage, and we'll have some fun talking about those things. So there you have it. So, yeah, I'm interested to know your point here. Rob Thompson, is he the mastermind behind all the drama? Is he ground zero? Is he patient zero of all this drama? Has he created a toxic environment that is poisoning our baseball players? Is it Rob Thompson? Or does he create an environment that separates different types of players from each other? The stars from the rest of them. Is there a double standard inside that Phillies clubhouse? Are players able to do different things based on their status in life, contract, name, reputation? And can the Phillies win with Rob Thompson as the manager? Let's go to the phones. Joe Hale is here. Joe, what's up?
I'm sorry I missed the first half of the show because I was doing stuff. Can we talk about what should have been a disallowed goal in the Canada?
What one? The overtime goal?
Yes.
The Mitch Marner thing of beauty?
There was too many men on the ice.
I didn't see that. I was too fixated on Marner.
No, I think Canada got the scare that they wanted.
They got scared today. That was tight.
I think USA got the scare that they wanted. And it's
listen, Sweden and Finland, or no, who they play? They played the Swiss, right? The Canadians.
Yeah.
Sweden's got a whole roster full of NHL players too, right? And I didn't really see what Switzerland's putting out there, but Sweden played a good game. Sweden did everything they could against US, and Markstrom was awesome in net for them. You're right though. I was on the edge of my seat, man. When it was 1-0 going into the third period, I was like, this is not enough. This is not enough. But luckily they were able to come back.
You said Rob Thompson. I think he deserves the blame. I think it was like with Harper going on. Well, Harper went out and apologized today.
Yeah.
But I was listening
damage
to
control.
Something on what Ruben Amaro said this morning on my way to work on a morning show. Winning cures everything.
It does.
And that's what needs to happen. I don't think they're going to win the World Series. I think they're going to win the East. I like the pitching, but I'm not worried about Painter. I'm more worried about the bullpen, back into the bullpen.
Duran, Alvarado, Kerkering, Keller. Listen, the one thing, offense, defense, rotation, bullpen. The one thing I'm actually not worried about the back end of the bullpen. I'm not worried about the bullpen. I think the bullpen got better this offseason. If there was anything they did all right, and that was they did okay with the bullpen, strengthening it. Obviously, we're going to see. We don't know what Jose Alvarado is going to be now that he's not juicing. We don't know how messed up Kerkering is he in his head right now. So there's some questions there, but I'm okay with the back end of the bullpen as long as they're used correctly. I don't want to see Kerkering in the fifth inning. I mean, Papernick was saying it last night. I don't want to see Orion Kerkering in the fifth or sixth inning. I barely want to see him in the seventh inning, but I'll accept seventh inning. But don't put him in any earlier than that. You know what I'm saying? Let these guys, let these back end guys be back end guys. And again, it comes down to Rob Thompson. Does the bullpen now have roles? I know Theron does, but do the rest of them have roles now? That's the big question.
You know why I said I'm not worried about Painter? His arm angle looks really, really good right now, and that's beginning of spring training. And his velocity is up.
Yeah, Painter will be all right. Yeah, you gotta give Painter. You gotta be patient with Painter. Painter will be fine. We just got to be very patient with him.
Yes, Painter needs to get his feet wet. But at the end of Lehigh Valley, he looked decent. The
velocity was up. The command was coming back. Yeah, he did. He started getting better. And I told you, I've said this before. I was more impressed that he got through the season unhurt. That's all I wanted to see. And he threw over 100 innings. So
he hasn't complained about arm soreness, and that's what happens when you first get Tommy John surgery.
So the question, Joe, I asked was, with all this drama, the triangle of drama between Nick Castellanos, Bryce Harper, and Dave Dombrowski, are we looking at the right people here? Who is the origin? Who is patient zero? How did this all start? And the one name that we haven't heard that much in this drama circle or drama triangle has been Rob Thompson. Isn't it Rob Thompson who set the tone for the attitude of the club on how they're going to be held accountable, how they're going to be treated, and sets the chemistry of the philosophy inside the culture inside that clubhouse? Isn't that the manager who starts all that?
Yes, I don't blame Harper one bit for getting pissed off what Dombrowski said. I really don't. I blame Thompson a lot. Thompson needs to handle it. He's the leader of the clubhouse, supposedly, but he's not acting like the leader. He's staying quiet, Yeah. And Papernick said it perfectly. Donnie Baseball is going to help wonders. I can see him calling the game instead of the buffoon, Rob Thompson.
And Don Manning's to be the manager of this team before the season's over. The official manager. Rob Thompson will be up fishing in Ontario by July. I don't know.
Can we shout out your boy? He's actually watching right now. Ricky, what's going on, man?
Good.
He won.
I hope you're doing well.
He'll be on soon enough.
I hope so. Anything else, Joe?
Yes. Joel Embiid's hurt.
Yeah, I saw that too.
But
yeah,
it's day to day, and there's nothing to be concerned about.
Yes, there is. There's always something to be concerned about with Joel Embiid and his health these days, man. There's always something to be concerned about.
So, one more question. When does USA play next in Canada?
Friday.
Is it tomorrow?
Friday.
Okay.
The girls. Are you talking about the girls?
No, the men's.
Yeah, the semis are Friday. The girls' finals are tomorrow.
Who does USA play Friday?
Chechnya.
And who does Canada play?
Yeah, what was it? Finland.
Finland might upset.
Yeah, they might.
Yes.
Yep.
Tomorrow night we'll be talking about the gold medalist USA women. I'm guaranteed.
Yeah, they're gonna. Yeah, I think they're gonna do it. They're very, very, very good hockey team. Yes, they are.
We're in the old school Eagles, the conference championship.
From the 04 season?
No. Last year.
Oh, last year's? I was like the one from 04.
No,
all right.
last year.
All right, Joe. See you tomorrow?
Yep.
All right, Joe Hale. Ricky's watching. That's good stuff. And Joe says, hey, everyone, when you before you got in the chat. Eagles keep A.J. Brown? Yeah, I don't know. When they named Thompson as manager, I immediately thought to myself, why did he become a first-time manager any level at most 6 years old? Yeah, well, listen. Maybe he didn't want it. Maybe he enjoyed being the lapdog of Joe Torre and Girardi. I mean, I wouldn't have, I would have enjoyed that ride too. Maybe he just didn't want the pressure. I don't know. But you're right. I don't remember his name ever even being mentioned ever in any sort of managerial race for anybody. You're 100% right, Barb. And I thought N22, an in-season replacement to Girardi was appropriate to name Rob Thompson. But then after the World Series, I didn't think there was anything given or deserved that he would return. But I understood why they let him come back. But I definitely wanted him out after 23. 100%. I wanted him fired after that debacle against Arizona. When you're up 3-2 and you're coming home and for the next 2 games of the series at CBP and all you got to do is win 1 game and they couldn't do it. I had seen enough of Rob Thompson. So anything after the 23 season has been a head shaker to me of why Rob Thompson is still here. I agree. But I think we've come to the end of the road with Rob. I think anything but a World Series championship, that's the only thing that's going to save Rob Thompson's job this year is a World Series championship. So, and that would be one of those types of season where it's like not necessarily smooth sailing to the World Series, but if they go into the crapper at some point here early in the season, like they come out and they have like a 500 March, April, which is fine. That's acceptable. But then they have like a 9-20 May or something like that, where they, fall about 7-8 games under 500, lifeless, doesn't seem to be working, all that. Then you got to make a decision. You got to do something to try to save the season at that point. But if they have a kind of a run that they had last year, where they dipped, but they came up, they dipped and they came up. I could see Rob Thompson making it through the season, but then at that point, the only thing that would save his job is his World Series championship. So I don't know. My bar is higher than just winning division at this point. And that's another question that's gotten lost in all this, Barb. Is the expectation level of this team right? I mean, I don't hear it anymore. I don't hear World Series or bust anymore. I don't hear that's the only thing acceptable. I mean, 2 years ago it was, 23 it was. Last year, what was the big thing? Sit back and enjoy the regular season. Don't just wish to get to October, which everyone was like, yeah, we'll wait and see till October. that was the attitude a lot of Phillies fans were having in April, May, and June. I don't care. We get to October. Right? You don't hear that anymore, right? Now everyone's just like, God damn, I don't even know if they're going to make it into the playoffs. Now, what's happening, obviously, with the drama and then what will happen in spring training, no, that's nothing until we get to the season. But what are the expectations of Phillies fans in 2026? Have we resigned ourselves to just quitting on the Phillies and saying, you know what? Yeah, man. Yeah, you're not winning a World Series, so I just hope you win. You make it to the playoffs. I still have the mentality of a World Series or bust. I still want to win a World Series, and I still don't accept anything less than that as a successful season. Right? I mean, but that's not necessarily the thought that I get from a lot of Phillies fans right now. That's not that we're not even talking about that. I mean, we're talking about this stuff, this drama crap, but no one's really even mentioned World Series. It's almost like we've resigned ourselves that the Dodgers are going to three-peat and that the Phillies are going to get eliminated in the first round. Some of us don't even think the Phillies are going to get to the playoffs. So, I don't know. All right, back to the phones. Hello, Peppernick.
Yo, what up, Matty? So you said Robbie should have been fired in 2023?
After the Diamondbacks series. 23.
Man,
after the NLCS.
Matty, I thought you knew better than that. He should have been fired. He should have been fired 30 seconds after taking over the internship of that team. Yeah, come on. That guy's horrible. I mean, look, there's a reason why I tell you he was second in charge, and no other team but the Phillies hired him. Yeah. Man, we have to be a first for everything, don't we?
Well, listen, in the conversation tonight, Peppernick, I asked this. In the triangle of Dave Dombrowski, Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, and all that drama, what role of any does Rob Thompson have in it?
None. He's a bumbling fool. He don't care. Wait, he does. No, he does. No, he does.
He sets the culture, right? He sets the tone for all this.
He lets Bryce Harper do what he wants, and he treated everybody else differently. Each person was he treated him different. Yeah, he's part of that culture. He needs to go too. Dombrowski needs to go. They should clean house. Look, I know everybody wants Mattingly here. This is the third Yankee manager in a row. Are we really going to go down that road? Has it won us anything?
Oh, Mattingly was never the manager of the Yankees.
No, the third man. Okay, my bad. The third person to come out of the Yankees organization: Joe Girardi, Rob Thompson. I mean, I get it, but like, I mean, I know he's a baseball guy, but you still got Bruce Bochy out there. How come they don't talk to him? Maybe.
Well, no, Bochy actually took a job he's an advisor with the 49ers Giants. But he's back in San Francisco as an advisor.
Wait. Advisor. Okay, so that means he wants to get back. That means he might be the next manager of the Giants again.
Yeah, or
something. I always say, and I'll repeat it again on there. John Middleton, I don't know what's going on with him allowing Robbie to stay around this long. Because, like I say, George Steinbrenner would have fired him the day after they lost the World Series.
Yeah, no, he would have.
Or the pennant. He wouldn't have made it past the pennant. At least I know that would have never happened. I mean, but George would have been smart enough, first off, not to hire him as an interim manager. So
he definitely would have gotten fired after the 2023 NLCS debacle against the Diamondbacks. He would have gotten fired after that. Yeah, no, I agree.
But, what made it worse was it was the same debacle in 2024.
Yeah.
Now and 2025.
They didn't hit.
Yes. Yeah. That's his team's MO, man. The Diamondbacks put out the blueprint, just throw them crap in the playoffs, and that's it. It's infectious. Unless they're playing the Braves. They can only beat the Braves in the first round. So that might be a silver lining this year. Maybe if they do, I don't think they are, because I think they're But if somehow they squeak into the playoffs, because that's all you got to do is get in, and they play the Braves in the first round, they might beat the Braves in the first round, because it's like they're the kryptonite to the Braves, like the Chiefs are the kryptonite to the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. You can't beat them.
Yeah, maybe that was the problem. Maybe we just played the wrong team. We can't play the Dodgers. Nobody in the NL West can't play them. We just got to
My
play
buddy
our own
pointed
division.
this. You know, my buddy pointed this out. Every time the Phillies have played the Dodgers in the first round, the Dodgers went on to the World Series.
Yeah, yes. That is very true. That is very, very true.
So if so they can't play the Dodgers in the first round, even though I think they're going to win it all. Now they had a hypothetical. They were talking about this hypothetical trade with Harper going to the Yankees. I forget who, but it was a bunch of prospects, a couple prospects coming back from.
Really?
Yeah, but that was just because of the debacle that's going on with him and yeah, and the fans are intrigued to have him bat behind Aaron Judge or something.
Interesting lineup, man. Good God, Judge, Stanton, Harper, Rice.
Well, Stanton's going to be gone. Stanton's going to be gone.
Yeah, but he'll be here this year. Bellinger, you throw him in there. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, but I don't know, man. I mean, if he goes there, you know what'll happen. They won't expect him. He ain't the star. He's not the mega star of the team.
And could Bryce Harper live in that environment? Do you think he could live in that environment?
What, not being the star?
Not being the focal point?
I think he can, because you know why? He'll be the focal point off field. I think he'd make more money than Aaron Judge off the field in New York.
Yeah. Oh, you fit right in.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, so maybe that's what he needs. I mean, but because like I said, he's not. I don't. Who is the? Here's a question for you. Of just position players, not pitchers, who is the star of the team?
Of the Phillies. Who would you say is the star? I mean, it's got to be based on recency bias. It's got to be Schwarber.
Yeah, he's done it over 4 years, except he didn't get an MVP because he can't bat over 240 or something.
And 50. He had that 50 some odd season home run season last year. Yeah, I mean he was the focal point last year.
Did he hit 50 some home runs and hit like 198 or 205 or something one year too? He had 50 home runs a year. I
don't think he ever hit 50 and batted less than 200. I know he's had a lot of 40 home run seasons and batted around 199, 198. Yeah. Which boggles my mind.
Well, you know why? He's just your look. He's your prototypical. That's what it is. I mean, listen, Dave Kingman didn't hit home run. He wasn't up there. Oh, we want you to bat 265, Dave. Listen, Dave, we don't care if you bat. You can bat 112 as long as you hit like 35 back then, 35 and 90. You know, we're loving that. But I was funny because I was talking to my buddy again today about the Phillies, and he was like, "What?" And I keep telling him it's not the offense. I was saying it's the pitching staff. It's the starting pitching which is going to fail the Phillies this year.
I disagree. I think it's the offense until proven otherwise. I know there's some concerns with the pitching. There's some question marks, yes, but still, even with those question marks, you look at the rest of the rotations in the NL East. Phillies have the better rotation. But you're right. It could come off the rails. But right now, based, again, on recency bias, over the past 4 years, it has been the offense over those 4 years that have failed this team. Does it continue on in 2026? Yeah, maybe it doesn't. But, until proven otherwise, I am dying on the hill that the Phillies have enough pitching. Could they get more? Sure. But they, in my opinion, they have enough pitching to compete in the NL and compete against the Dodgers and everybody else. It will be the goddamn offense.
Dodgers? Oh, man. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess.
They held the Dodgers in check. They held them in check. Didn't they? The pitching?
Yeah, but here's the bottom line. Who won the series? That's all that matters. It doesn't matter.
Because the Phillies didn't hit. Kaepernick, the Phillies didn't hit.
We know
they
that.
Got hit, though. Yeah, but they got a hit. Again, I'm not telling you you're wrong. And I'm not telling you that no. But I'm not telling you that going into this season, I definitely feel that heading into 26, there's more question marks ever before on this pitching staff than any other season prior to this in this run. But still, to me, until proven otherwise, I am 100% okay with the pitching. I would like for them to go out and sign a guy. I don't know. They signed some hack today. Yeah.
Connor Gillespie.
Yes, like a 7.95 career ERA between the minors and the majors for 5 different teams. Whatever. So that's not the number 5 I'm looking for. I am a little disheartened that they let Walker Buehler go, Patrick Corbin, and all that, but they really got to find another pitcher. Look,
they have no other choice to sign Scherzer right now. Then
he's out there, and he would put butts in the seats too. You know,
Andrew
Painter.
Yeah, yes, he would. Hey, you know what he's good for? He ain't gonna take crap off those all the ball. Throw inside, don't throw at your head. He don't care.
I take a flyer on Scherzer, man. I would. A 1 year, $10 million. Here you go. Come on.
And his personality. They have none on this team. None. Yeah. They lost that personality after Hector Neris left with his crooked hat. They lost the personality went south. I said, without Hector, Harper don't have no personality. You just stop. No. Nobody does. No. Hey, you know what's getting me worried? I've been thinking about this the last couple of days. I haven't said none. The Eagles have been real quiet. It's just been real somber and quiet with that team.
With not like releasing anybody or making any sort of
in general, no trouble. Like there's no AJ Brown talk, there's no Stoutland talk, there's no Sirianni talk, or
they might be on vacation right now.
But listen, you're never on vacation because you got a phone. You know, you got people with video you, and they just start. So now it's just kind of like it's like the calm before the storm that's going to hit.
Yes, it is. I mean, those players start leaving their free agency, and then it's going to be an interesting offseason. Yeah.
Here's a question for you: would you take a flyer on Tyreek Hill?
No, because of the situation with his ACL.
Slot.
He's not going to be ready to he's not going to be ready till like October. I don't want him missing 6 weeks of the season. If they could tell me he'd be ready by week 1, or he could be, like ready for camp, yes, I would take a 1 year flyer on him. But he's got so many issues with that ACL that they're saying like October, like week 6, that he'll be ready.
Yeah, but but here's the thing with that. I mean, he's 32 years old. You're going to get a guy coming back. We know that, but he's probably going to be in good. He always keeps himself in decent shape. We don't have a third receiver on this team, do we?
No.
Do we have a third wide receiver? I mean, Dotson's going to walk.
Free agent. Then you got Wilson and
He'll probably walk.
Smith. I don't know what
that's the thing. And here's the thing. You know what Tyreek Hill gives you? If A.J. Brown starts his whatever, you can slide him to the outside a little bit. You could do a lot more with Tyreek Hill, creativity-wise.
Do you think the Eagles could handle the personalities of Tyreek Hill and A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni all on the same team?
Okay, here's the thing with AJ. AJ don't cause problems on the field, and I've never seen, you know what I mean, in the sense he does it off the field with his mouth. Okay.
Right. But it bleeds into the way we've seen this before with AJ. He bitches and moans about not getting targets, and then they overcompensate the week after that, ignoring the other receivers on this team. So that's a bad culture. That's a bad way to do business. So
you know where I think Tyreek Hill should go? Seriously, this is where I want Tyreek Hill to go. I ain't going to come to you, but I've said that I told my buddy this the other day when it happened. I want him to go to the Buffalo Bills. Look, get him and AJ Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Then they can't cry that Josh has nobody there for him to catch the ball when they're going to not get to the Super Bowl again. You know, and the guy with no how do you put this? Big game gene to win in him, and Josh Allen. Okay, he'll cry a little bit more, and and they'll just blah blah blah. But Tyreek Hill's going to go there. I'd love to see him go there, or he's going to go. I think he goes back to Kansas City with Andy. Now, who's throwing the ball? I don't know, but he'll go. I think he winds up in Kansas City if it ain't Buffalo.
Somebody will pick him up, but he might be one of those guys that hangs out, lingers into the season until he gets closer to being ready, and then somebody signs him. That kind of move, and maybe the Eagles are that team. Who knows?
I mean, listen, if you're going to get him for say you get him, say he's not ready till like week 8, right?
Right.
9. Okay, what do you pay him? Like $3 million for the year?
I'd try to get him less. I would try to get him less.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm just putting a number out there because of the way the numbers are flying around with money, people flying around with money out there. I mean, somebody. I mean, if he's out there that late, yeah, then I would want the Eagles to take a flyer on because some good team's going to take a flyer. And say they're in a battle with Dallas, and Dallas decides, or they're in a battle with the Giants, and they decide to do it. You know, even Washington to put him out there with Terry McLaurin and them dudes, because you know what, he would fit in Washington. Terry McLaurin's a really quiet guy. He don't cause nothing. Debo, I've never heard nothing bad about him. Tyreek Hill would be the perfect fit for them because he don't have no egos there.
Yeah. No, someone's going to grab him. Someone will take a flyer on him. Absolutely.
All right, Matty, you have a good night. All
right, Pappernick, we'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be on tomorrow.
All right, man. We'll see you then. Michael Pappernick checking in. Yeah, Tyreek Hill's an interesting situation. I definitely would take a flyer on him. But the one thing that's going to scare some teams away from him is those medical issues. I've been hearing reports week 6, week 8. He's not going to be ready to go until like second quarter of the 2026 season. Oh, and by the way, interesting, before we continue on, interesting NFL scheduling things, right? The international games, Eagles are rumored, or not rumored, but there's a possibility because I guess they gave the 49ers a game in, was it Mexico? And the Eagles are on the home schedule of the Niners this year, so they may get an opportunity to play international this year. Another interesting fact is that the Chargers and the 49ers, not the Chargers, the Rams and the 49ers are going to kick off. They're playing in Melbourne in week 1. Now, typically, we all know that the NFL likes to give that first game of the season to the Super Bowl champion, which in this case is the Seahawks, which we talked about this a few weeks back. The Patriots are on the home schedule of the Seahawks this year. So, you know, I mentioned, does the NFL dare give us a Super Bowl rematch in week 1 and make the Patriots sit there and watch the banner go up in the ring ceremony of the Seattle Seahawks, which I think they should. But anyway, because the week 1 Australia game is being played in friggin' Australia in a different hemisphere, there's questions and there's I guess it's going back and forth that they may put that game on Wednesday night before the Thursday night game, which would give the 49ers and the Rams the ability to kick off the season before the Super Bowl champions because of travel and the logistics of traveling to Australia and back. So very interesting that they might be doing that. Now, the NFL has done that before because of travel issues. They've had a game, not the Super Bowl champion kickoff season before, but just pretty interesting as we kind of navigate through the early days of the offseason, you know, some scheduling issues. But yeah, I find that very interesting. I don't like what MLB did with putting Sunday night games on Peacock. And there's another new NBC sports app that supposedly will have games too, because when the said NBC, I thought regular, Peacock is the new carrier of Sunday Night Baseball. Bob Costa's coming back, not in studio or not in game. He's going to be the studio pregame guy for Sunday Night Baseball on NBC. Bringing NBC Sunday Night Baseball back to NBC. I know it's getting, Barbara. I know people bitch about it. I know they do. They bitch, and they rightfully bitch about this, about these streaming services. It's just unfortunately the way it is. And until, just like what happened with cable and satellite TV, when satellite became too expensive and they bankrupted themselves, and then streaming came along, same thing's going to happen. These streaming services will nickel and dime us to death until something different comes along to try to lay out the playing field. It's a money grab right now. I know it sucks. And yeah, it's going to be on Peacock, not NBC, but the Peacock channel, Sunday Night Baseball. this year. But yeah, I feel you. It sucks. Matter of fact, get a load of this. March 25th, which is the opening day of baseball, Giants and Yankees. The only game that day, right? As it should be. There should only be 2 teams that kick off the season. It's on Netflix. Yeah. So not on ESPN, not like it used to be, not even on the MLB network. It's on Netflix, the first baseball game of the season. So, yeah, again, I feel you. I do. I feel you. I don't remember Schwarber hitting 200 in Chicago. I do remember him playing left field where which he was incapable to. Yeah, he hit 200. I don't remember him hitting 200 in Chicago either. I know one year he hit like 199 here. I think it was like 23. He hit like 199. Listen, to Kyle Schwarber's credit, both in 24 and 25, he almost batted, on was he 245 last year? I mean, I'll take that. And Kyle Schwarber's definitely won me over. I wasn't a big fan of his early in his career here, but he's won me over a little bit. Josh Allen is and always will be a better QB than Hurts. I agree. Ain't going to get an argument out of me. Ain't going to get. I would take him in a heartbeat over Hurts. I would take a lot of quarterbacks over Hurts. And again, I would take Hurts over a lot of quarterbacks too. Hurts is really nothing special to me. He's a good starting quality quarterback, but that's it. There's better options out there than him, and there's worse. All right, let's move on. Let's get into the of the night segment. Yeah, rolling right through tonight. Here we go. All right. Yes, the other night segment rolls on tonight, and we are getting to the end of our Philly Spotlight series where we've taken a look at players that I feel that are going to be instrumental in the Phillies' success in 2026. We're getting down to the end. I think after tonight, I'll have 2 more players left. So let's continue the train here. Let's roll it on with tonight's Philly Spotlight player. And a real good surprise here. And a guy that you got to give kudos to where kudos is, and that's Tanner Banks. Just quietly goes out there and does his job. And that's what you want from a relief pitcher. You don't want flashiness, especially a guy that's not a back-end guy. He's a consummate mid guy. I love Tanner Banks in that 5th, 6th inning position. Again, we talked about it with Joe Hale, or was it Papernick, about roles, right? I mean, the Phillies have given Johan Duran the role in that bullpen as the closer. Are the rest of these pitchers going to find roles in 2026? I hope. And if Tanner Banks can get a role, because they bounced him around last year. I saw him a few times in the 8th, 7th, 9th, 1st, 3rd. I saw him all over. But to me, Tanner Banks is your 5th, 6th inning guy, right? He's your mid guy. He is mid. That is Tanner Banks' MO, in my opinion. I'm not going to stretch him out in long relief, and I'm not going to put him in high-pressure late inning situations, but he actually has been put in those situations and done pretty well. But if we can find a home for Tanner Banks as your mid-reliever in that 5th, 6th inning, I think his consistent good play will continue, and that'll be a benefit for, and again, in my opinion, a pretty decent Phillies bullpen. I really think they're pretty good. 69 games appeared last year, 6-2 record, 3.07 ERA, pitched 67.1 innings, struck out 61, had a 1.01 whip, 1 save. Again, told you he pitches everywhere. His strikeout percentage was 22.8, and his walk percentage was 4.5. Again, he just comes out and gets the job done. Brought over here in the 2024 trade deadline from the Chicago White Sox in a surprisingly good move by Dave Dombrowski at the trade deadline. One of few moves he's made that has worked out at the trade deadline. But definitely a pivotal piece to the Phillies puzzle in 2026. But you don't know it because he just goes about it quietly and effectively. And that is Mr. Tanner Banks. There you have it. Tonight's Phillies Spotlight player, Tanner Banks. And again, we got 2 more left now to do and we'll be done with the Spotlight series, and we can focus back on the MLB draft, or actually on the NHL draft, before we start breaking ground on the MLB draft, and then Phillies prospects, which is coming in April. And the draft stuff, well, we've already kind of started the NHL draft. I'll probably start again with that next week. And MLB draft, I'll probably wait a little long on that one. Maybe we'll get started in that in April as well. So April will be the prospects in the MLB draft. But all right. Listen, I think I'm gonna call it a night. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a night tonight. Sports Hell Week continues. The thrill of victory. We had the U.S. men's hockey team beating Sweden tonight 2-1 in overtime on the way to the semifinals. But that was about it. Sports Hell Week continues on, but we're getting closer. Just when we talk again tomorrow, we'll be literally on the eve of the start of spring training, as there will be some games on Friday, and then the Phillies will kick off their spring training set on Saturday, and we can get hopefully closer to the start of the season. Please, hopefully you're there. We'd like to see you, Barb. Thanks, everybody, for joining in tonight. Good show. Thank you, as always. Have a great rest of your night. Till we speak again tomorrow, I'm out of here. See ya.